So that happened. Chase Elliott is the 2020 NASCAR Cup Series Champion. That's it. It's done. The season's finished. Elliott came up clutch in this format when needed, and he's the champion. He's the first driver to be the most popular driver to win the championship since his father, Bill Elliott. And this is huge. This is enormous. We've had generations of NASCAR fans who haven't seen a most popular driver win a title. And this is no disrespect to Elliott later in his career or Dale Earnhardt Jr. I'm a fan of both. Both are great drivers. But this is monumental. So today I want to look in a little bit to what we have. What we have going forward with Chase Elliott being the champion to represent NASCAR at its highest level. So starting off, I just want to say it's good for NASCAR. And I know that's a no-duh thing to say, but kind of looking into it a little bit, I got to say it's really, really good for NASCAR. NASCAR can market its most popular driver as a champion, as the best in the Cup Series. And I don't care really what you view of the format, that's how people in the mainstream are going to view it, which is good for NASCAR. Now, Chase Elliott doesn't have as much of an outreach to fans outside of NASCAR fans that a Bubba Wallace or a Kyle Busch or a Jimmy Johnson would have. But he has the power to energize NASCAR's base. He has the power to make NASCAR fans want to tune back in who may have taken the last year or a couple years off. That is the power of the most popular driver. That is the power that he possesses. And we're going to see whether or not that power really can transcend seasons. Now, a couple years ago, Kevin Harvick made some comments about Dale Earnhardt Jr., basically saying that his lack of winning and not winning championships has stunted NASCAR's growth. I don't necessarily think that that's the full reason why. I think there's plenty of other reasons why, but I think it is a contributing factor. We're going to find out just how true those statements were. We're going to find out if NASCAR's TV ratings next year, at least the first half, jump up. We're going to know that it's probably the Chase Elliott bump. This is something I think that NASCAR needs to look at moving forward. Because I think that in a natural setting, the ratings should go up. Attendance in a non-pandemic situation should go up with the most popular driver winning the championship. This shouldn't be questioned. Now, what I think is going to happen is we're going to see either a great look or a damning look at how NASCAR markets itself. How it markets itself not only to new fans, but to old or existing fans currently. So this right here is going to tell us a lot about NASCAR moving forward. Have they adapted through the pandemic the way that many have said and the way that it indicates with their ratings seemingly being at least flat while everyone else's goes down? These are the questions that we're going to have answered. And I think that it's just going to raise more questions moving forward, especially if Elliott goes back to back. We're really going to know just how much he can energize the base and just how much NASCAR can push it forward. Now, another thing moving forward that I think we're going to have a good look at is Hendrick Motorsports. For the last couple years, because of Jimmy Johnson's struggles especially, as well as struggles from Casey Kane, Dale Jr., and while good, Alex Bowman hasn't been the greatest, Chase Elliott has been the lone bright spot at Hendrick. And really, Hendrick has seemingly taken a step down. But as we have been saying that, Elliott goes out, wins 5 races, and wins a championship. So it kind of flies in the face of all of our arguments. So there's 2 things to look at with Hendrick here. Number 1, this is the clear passing of the torch. We've known for a while that Elliott is the best driver at Hendrick since about 2017, but now it's been proven. Jimmy Johnson having his final start in Chase Elliott's first championship clinching race. You know what? It's poetic. And it really is, like I said, the passing of the torch. So moving forward, I don't think it should be questioned at all. Chase Elliott is the lead dog at Hendrick. I'd even go so far to say he's the lead dog at Chevy. he represents brands now. Chase Elliott solely represents a third of the manufacturers in the sport currently, as well as one of the most historic teams in NASCAR history. It kind of, actually looking back, is reminiscent of Jeff Gordon's launch up. Now, I'm not saying that Chase Elliott is Jeff Gordon. He still has plenty of time that he needs to prove. But just remember, he's only 24. This guy has not even been close to reaching his peak. And I don't think he's going to be like a lot of drivers that were young in the early 2000s that were very up and down, hit or miss. Chase Elliott has proven every year he's someone who is a top 5 to top 7 driver. If Chase Elliott's running 8th to 9th to 10th, it's a bad day. It's a bad year. It's, oh, well, he's doing that again. Chase Elliott this year has been up front more than any other year yet in his career. He has proven, whether he had a championship or not, that he belongs. He is an elite driver. Now, I personally have never won a NASCAR Cup Series Championship, so I'm just going to be assuming here. But I'm assuming that winning a championship and going through that stress and struggle really helps mature a driver. I mean, you look at the difference between Brad Keselowski before and after his title, and it is really big. Look at the difference between Jimmy Johnson before and after his first title, second, and so on. Jeff Gordon, same way. You look at every driver before and after the title, it seems to change them. It seems to almost calm them as a driver. It doesn't stop their championship and winning fire. No way does it do that. Just ask Kyle Busch. Just ask Kevin Harvick. But it does seem to help a driver moving forward. Now, he might have a championship hangover. Who knows? 2020 has been an odd year, and 2021 will at least start out odd, but is hopefully looking to be ending out on a semi-regular note. So a lot of stuff's going to be changing. There's going to be a lot of turbulence moving forward. It's going to be harder than ever, especially with this format, but even with the surrounding circumstances for Elliott to repeat. Only time will tell next year. Now, another thing I want to look at is the money that NASCAR is going to be looking at. Sponsorship dollars are going to be huge. Even if he doesn't have the outreach outside the sport that other drivers do, inside the sport, Chase Elliott is a rock star. He is a superstar amongst NASCAR fans. And naturally, sponsors are going to jump on that. Napa isn't a catbird seat. At this young of an age, he has stared down the absolute best in the sport of the last, I'd say, 15 years. And won. He has 11 wins right now, and he only started winning 2.5 seasons ago. Once he won, the floodgates opened, and sponsorship dollars are seeing that. Media people are seeing that. So you bet your ass there's going to be people both in sponsorship deals and as well as in media deals who are going to want to have all of his attention. There's going to be people coming out of the woodwork from all over the place in media that probably wouldn't cover NASCAR if he hadn't won, because they know that NASCAR fans are going to try different stuff out, and it's going to branch out NASCAR's brand in a lot of ways. So this is huge, and it legitimizes NASCAR in a lot of ways, and one of those ways is the youth movement. Now, we've had some flashes of brilliance from Elliott before, as well as from Blaney, and Bubba Wallace, like I said, outside of NASCAR, is becoming a superstar. He's becoming an icon for many in this generation. But having somebody from this movement win a championship, in my opinion, completely legitimizes this youth movement. Now, I've been one to talk about how slow off the ball these guys have been. But Elliott has been, once again, the lone bright spot. And this right here shows that this youth movement, well, they have the beginnings of a takeover of the sport. Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick, Martin Truex Jr., Jimmy Johnson, who's now retiring, Kurt Busch, they're not getting any younger. Chase Elliott, while not getting any younger, is really, really young. Ryan Blaney, young. Bubba Wallace going into a pretty good car with Michael Jordan, young guy. This almost looks like the beginning of the reign of this generation. Like I said, it was slow to start, but there's a lot of talent behind Elliott, and they're going to improve too. Elliott is going to improve. In my opinion, over the next 15 years, 20 years, Elliott could become the guy to beat, and this could be viewed as the start. So this legitimizes this movement. Instead of asking when they're going to break through, we're instead asking how much of their winning is going to break through, how much they're going to exceed expectations moving forward, how much they're going to match those expectations moving forward. This is huge. This is a moment that I think a lot of people are looking at as possibly beginning an era. Now, another thing moving forward that we're going to have to look at is the playoff argument. The last week, everyone, myself included, has been giving their takes on NASCAR's playoff format. I personally oppose this format, but I see its merit. I see where it can add these kind of moments. A lot of people were arguing against it. And this is really an argument more within the fan base. Yeah, sure, there's some people outside the fan base. I know some people outside the fan base who have seen this format, and some like it and a lot of people hate it. But in this internal argument, they don't really matter. Who matters is the fans. And I think with the most popular driver, many of whom that probably oppose this system, rooting for this driver, with this driver winning, I think that it makes it a lot easier for NASCAR side of things to explain, hey, this is our format, we're going to move forward with it. And it makes it a lot harder for those who oppose it to argue against the fandom. Because who is going to argue that the championship that their favorite driver won is illegitimate? I'm sorry, it's going to change a lot of people's minds on this. Somebody who beforehand hated the format and couldn't stand it, if their favorite driver wins in it and they've had the excitement and happiness of winning a championship, I guarantee that if they do end up turning against this format again, it's going to be a hell of a lot harder. More than likely, a lot of people are just going to stay quiet about it. A lot of people are going to have their minds changed. Maybe some people outside of it, after what happened to Harvick and Hamlin, will change their minds into disliking this format, but I think this is a huge win on the NASCAR side of things. I think it's going to be much easier for them to talk about this format and have people accept it. Whether or not it legitimizes the competition aspect will always be up to debate, but when it comes to the fan acceptance, I think it's been legitimized a lot because of this. And then the final point I want to talk about here, Elliott's championship really is a huge win for those who want the 750 package. If you look back at Elliott's wins this year, he won at Charlotte, which is the 550, but then he also won at the Daytona Road Course, the Roval, Martinsville, and Phoenix. Those last two right there are the big ones for the 750 package. Elliott has excelled in this package. He's done great this year and competed for wins multiple times. I think that while it might not change many manufacturers' take on it, NASCAR might be more open moving forward to a higher horsepower package. Now, they keep talking about manufacturers. For the longest time, it was like, 2022, that's when we're going to have them at the earliest. Now it's 2023. It just moves back every year, which tells me that either COVID has paused the talks, which is very possible, or that these talks aren't going anywhere. So NASCAR needs to start looking more towards what their fans want. And their fans want Chase Elliott to win. Chase Elliott wins more with this kind of package, with a more skill-based package. Not to say that you can't have skill to drive the 550. I can't jump into that and just win. I never will claim to. But the 750 package seems to be the harder package to drive overall. So maybe moving forward, that's what NASCAR is going to try and aim for. Maybe they have found a legitimate argument. I don't think so. I'm wishfully thinking, but I really don't think this is going to change much. But who knows? All I'm saying, though, is that NASCAR in 2021, NASCAR after this, there's going to be some different looks to it. Both from fans looking at it, but as well as just how it looks in general. NASCAR will be changed by Chase Elliott being a champion. And I think in a lot of ways it'll be for the better. I hope in a lot of ways it'll be for the better. But now I want to enter the most fun part of the video for me, asking you what you thought. This is discussion. This isn't me trying to preach to you. This is me just putting my point across. So let me know in the comments down below, what changes do you think NASCAR is going to have because of Chase Elliott winning? What significance does this championship have on the sport? Or why doesn't it? Why is everything going to be pretty much the same? Let me know down in the comments below. And while you're at it, leave a like on this video and subscribe to my channel for more great NASCAR content. And until next time, have a good one.